As we come in to the entryway, this going to the right is where the bedroom is. This is behind here where we have a door going into the other side, and you'll notice how thick the walls are, because this is a double brick wall here with another wall for insulation on the whole house. The whole side of the house here is like that. And this door here now, it goes to the music room, the man cave, and this is a door we added. This wall wasn't here before. And this is a solid core door, and so we've got a little extra. Now we've got two doors that separate this room from the other side of the house. And as we come in, we'll go across the back wall, and you can see the new acoustical treatment, and we've got the rear surround speaker there, and we've got the acoustical treatments there as well along the back wall, and in the middle is the center channel for the 6.1, and then the other rear surround on the top. Of course, in the middle is the record collection, and we've almost got the whole thing filled up. We've probably got another couple of cubes filled up since the last time, so that's a good improvement. And now we've got this acoustical treatments there. They're made out of wood, and you can see there's holes drilled in there, and they're also been sawn and they're ribbed. And there's an acoustical treatment that's on the back of it to help absorb the sound. But once you get back, you can't see any of that. So that was a gift from my son. He works in St. Augustine at the place that manufactures that stuff. And then I have some homemade acoustical treatment on that wall there. Also a tube trap against that side, but I've got it as a reflective instead of absorbive. And then the tube trap in the corner is for absorption, for trapping the standing waves. Then we come across for the stereo. We've more acoustical treatment back there, and you can see the 3 surround speakers up on the top. Then we've got more acoustical treatment on the side, and there's a door there that wasn't there before, and this whole wall here, from here over, wasn't there. We added that wall, and the flooring is all new. Now we've got this wood flooring in here, and this is a 3/4 inch solid wood that's glued down to the concrete, and that, my friends, is a lot of work. So let's go into this is one of the things my wife wanted. This is one of the big reasons she wanted this remodeling done in here, because she wanted to put this room in here, because she wanted some extra storage, and she wanted a place to put the freezer inside the house, so she didn't have to go up to the garage, didn't have to run outside and do all that. So now it's inside here, and she's got a little desk here. She's got her sewing machine, got a little, she doesn't use it much, but it's a little kind of her little office in there. So that's something that was done. And of course all this stuff over here is on a completely different circuit than my stereo, of course. The only thing that the stereo circuit is on is this room itself, and it's only lighting. There's no mechanical devices on the stereo itself. So now if we go over, I'll move to this side, and we'll pan against the other wall. And there you go. That's the, and now we'll have a look at the seating. And that's the chair, the sweet spot right there. From the back to the front. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about the acoustical treatments and how I've got this set up, how the room set up. On the back wall, right behind the speakers, because these speakers, the sound comes out of the back as much as it comes out of the front, which gives it spaciousness. And normally you don't really have to worry too much about the back reflection, because the time involved is quite a bit before it gets to your ear. But you still want to deaden the room a bit. You don't want to have it too lively where it's too much echo. So we've got these panels here. That's the same type panel again on this wall with the holes and all that drilled in it. Harder to see on this side because of the light, but you can see it's in there. And now this is what you call a bass trap. This is fiberglass inside of here. It's actually pipe insulation, and it's covered with this material. And the material you cover it with, it has to be where you can see through it and breathe through it. If you can't do that, you can't use it. The sound can't get through it properly. And so this is all open, just fiberglass under here, so the sound goes through there and is turned into heat energy and is dispersed, because that corner is a bad place that creates a standing wave for your bass. So the bass goes in there and gets trapped, and you actually end up getting more bass because the standing wave will actually cancel out the bass you want. And another problem area is that corner up there, which I have yet to do. I got a solution for it, but I haven't put it up yet. Then we move over to the side of the speakers, and this is a homemade acoustical treatments here. That's just cloth over like real thick, the type of stuff they put in quilts, a quilting material which absorbs sound. And now on the side here, this is what you call, let's back up a bit, you can see a little bit better. That tube trap there now, that's what you call at the first reflective point. That's the main point that you want to address in your room. When you're sitting in the sweet spot right here, you get somebody, I got my wife, and she ran a mirror across that wall. And when you can see the speaker from the sweet spot, that's where that little piece of tape is up there. That's where she had the mirror, and I could see the speaker in that mirror from sitting on this spot right here. And so that's your first reflective point. That's the first place on it bounces, the first place it bounces off where it gets to your ear. And that's the one you have to worry about the most. And so what we have here now, these traps are not absorbed. They do not absorb. They are dispersive. You can see under here, there's a paper under there, and that's reflecting the sound. So it's going in a curve. So it's pushing the sound all over the place. So it's dispersing it, and it actually creates some width to the room. It makes the sound more expansive when you do it that way. Because I could do it either way. Because on the back side is where it's absorbed, and the front side is for dispersion. So you can turn them, and I thought I just wanted to, when I first got them, I was just going to be absorbing the sound. But it turns out when I turn them around, it's better. So we've got our acoustical treatments on the side, our dispersion on the first reflective point, and then on the back wall, again, I have some more absorption. Now, if you look on the floor here, we have some tape on the floor. And this is so we can do our speaker placement. And the rule that I found about speaker placement is you take your room and you divide the room width by 4. And that's where this line comes. This is where this line, that's where you put tape along that line. The room width divided by 4, and then the room width divided by 3. You put another piece of tape on there. And then you're supposed to put every foot or so, you put a line across. But and you're actually supposed to put the speakers out even further, but my speaker wire, this is as far as I could get the speaker out because the speaker wire is only so long. I even made myself some new speaker wires. I took the old ones I had and I put new ends on them, and I got them all looking really nice in here. Nice and solid with the banana plugs and all. And that's a homemade speaker wire. It's all oxygen free, Blitz wired, with silver plated. Man, they sound fantastic. And then I made these homemade power cables, because the speakers have to be plugged in, and of course you have to have the speaker off the ground. So I got a little thing there. I don't really think that makes much of a difference, but when I used to have the speaker wires laying on the carpeting, I could hear a difference when lifting them off the carpet. The hardwood floor, not so much. But now to continue with the speaker placement, let's continue on with that. So we've got our divided by 4 and divided by 3 line on the wall. And then you take the length of the room and you divide that by 3. My room is 21 feet, so divided by 3 is 7 feet, and 7 feet comes right here. And so that's where you want to put your listening chair, is 1/3 into the room, if you can, of course. And then this is where you put your speakers, because you've got the little tracks for them where they go. And so what you do is you start out with your speaker up here on the front. And then you start backing them up. And from what I understand, they actually want you to put them a little too far forward. So you definitely know you're in the wrong place. And as you keep backing up and backing up, backing up, and when you get to a point right about here somewhere, that's when the speakers disappear. Then you know you got them in the right spot. That's the point now where you start doing your toe in to get your voice focused right in the middle. And so before I had carpeting, right? And so my speaker spikes went right into the concrete through the carpet. Well, now I've got this hardwood floor. Now what am I supposed to do? So that's why we now have the Gaia 2. And look at the recommendation of this stuff. Stereophile Product of the Year, Editor's Choice Award, Product of the Year winner, Editor's Choice and all that. For us, or an isolation device for a speaker, that's the Product of the Year and everything? Yeah, there's something going on with these things. So let's get down, maybe we can see them. There you go. They're under the speakers. And I tell you what, folks, this sound of this stereo has never sounded this good ever. Those things really work well. And what do they do? What do I really notice? Imaging. These speakers really image the way they're supposed to image now. They really, really sound good. So for the folks that haven't seen the room tour before, I'm going to go through a kind of a short video about the stereo equipment. Okay, first of all, the turntable is sitting on something called a Ginkgo Audio Cloud. This is a vibration control device, and it has a very audible difference when you get rid of that vibration that's coming up through the floor, getting into your stereo rack and getting into the turntable. Now I've since got a new stereo rack as well. I used to have it on something different, but I tell you what, I sure like my Ginkgo Cloud. Works really well. Now the turntable, we're going to zoom back out here again. The turntable is called an Origin Live Calypso turntable. It's got a brushless DC motor over here on the left, and I've got it equipped with the Origin Live silver tone arm, and it has a Shelter 501 Mark II moving coil with the upgraded microline stylus on the boron cantilever. Going down, we have the Jasmine Phono preamp. One side is the power supply, the other side is the phono section. And I have replaced the coupling caps with some upgraded coupling caps, which are film capacitors, which are clarity film caps that I put in there. And boy, does that ever make the sound. The name really fulfills itself. It brought a lot more clarity to the sound on the stereo. Okay, next up is the Dodd Audio. This is a battery powered tube preamplifier. And right now I've got a Mullard tubes in there. And they really bring the breath of life into the voice. I had some Siemens tubes and they had a little bit more bass, maybe a little more shimmer on the cymbals, but they didn't have that magic in the mid-range. And then on the bottom is the Musical Fidelity AC3R. This is a choke regulated power supply, and it's a dual mono, and it's 120 watts per channel. And this was rated at the top of its class by Stereophile magazine when it came out in the day. And this is for my surround sound. It's a Denon 3801. I brought it brand new a number of years ago, but it still works really good. I don't, surround sound is not that demanding for, fidelity, so it works great. And at 6.1, it's all I need. Well, okay, there you have it. That's the room tour 2022. After the remodel, we saw the new room that we added. The new walls were put in, new hardwood floors, new ceiling. Took the old popcorn off of there, scraped all that off, and got a nice double knockdown on the ceiling now. We talked about all the equipment in the room, the new 6.1 and the stereo equipment, how we have the turntable isolated with the Gingo Cloud, and the speakers are isolated with the Gaia 2s. We talked about all the acoustical treatment in the room and why things are, why they are where they are, why we have the tube traps in the corner, why we have dispersion on the side and absorption on the other areas. We talked about the speaker placement, where you divide the room by 4 and you measure from the wall that distance, and you put a line on the floor. Then you measure from the wall what was divided by 3 and you put the line, and the same thing on the other side. Put the line, and you have your little track. Bring the speakers forward, bring them back until they disappear, then you tow them in. And the reason they want you to start at the front rather than at the back, because most of the time people get them closer to the back wall. They know they're supposed to bring them forward. They start bringing them forward and they say, that sounds good. Well, they never bring them far enough. They never bring them close enough. So this procedure is you bring them too far forward and you move them back. Then you know you've got them far enough forward. Then of course you go from the back wall, you measure your length, divide it by 3, and from the back wall you come 1/3 of the way in. So we covered the acoustical treatment, we covered the new stereo room, why we have it set up the way we do. And I'll tell you what, it sounds fantastic. It really does sound great. Really enjoy it. And the TV, it's a 65-inch TV and, LED, smart, great TV. And the surround sound's fantastic in here. And most of the time it's just me by myself enjoying everything. And I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And the last video I made, I had 2 people saying, "Hey, what about the room tour?" So yeah, I promised Lovell I would do the room tour. And so here it is. And thanks for watching. And bye for now.